because of internal fights among the Nephites, the Lamanites captured more cities. At this dangerous time, the people of Ammon wanted to protect the Nephites. This was a big decision because they had covenanted with God to never fight again. However, they were so worried about the Nephites that they were prepared to break that oath. Helaman convinced them to keep their promise to God. However, the youth had not entered into that covenant because they had been too young at the time. Now, these youth decided to make their own covenant with God. They promised to fight in order to defend their liberty, the Nephites, and their country. Although they made very different covenants, both groups pleased God, reminding us that we all have unique personal journeys to take in life. The young men, also known as the Stripling Warriors, asked Helaman to be their leader, and they became a great support to the Nephites because their mothers had raised them to be valiant, to keep the commandments, and to trust God. Helaman and the Stripling Warriors worked with Antipas to lure an army of Lamanites out of their stronghold. In the battle that followed, Antipas and many others died. The Nephites only won that battle because the miraculous strength of the Stripling Warriors frightened the Lamanites into surrendering. God blessed the Stripling Warriors because of their faith, and Helaman received revelation that allowed them to retake several cities without needing to fight. When they did fight, God watched over them. In a battle where over 1,000 Nephites were killed, none of the Stripling Warriors died. 10% of them had fainted from a loss of blood, but all of them were preserved. Meanwhile, Ammoron and Moroni sent letters about trading prisoners. However, Moroni got so mad during their communication that he refused to work with Ammoron. Instead, Moroni sent a man named Laman, who was a Lamanite who now lived among the Nephites, to the city with the Nephite prisoners. Laman said he had escaped from the Nephites and that he had taken their wine. The guards took the wine and drank so much that they fell into a deep sleep. While the guards were asleep, Moroni gave the Nephite prisoners weapons. When the Lamanite guards woke up, they were surrounded, and so they surrendered. Unfortunately, the Nephite army did not receive the reinforcements they needed, and so they lost more cities to the Lamanites. This made Moroni angry, and he received a revelation that he should fight against the Nephites who were withholding support from the effort to maintain freedom. Moroni assumed that Pahoran, the chief judge, was to blame, and so Moroni sent Pahoran an angry letter. Pahoran did not get mad or take the attack personally. He recognized the goodness of Captain Moroni's motives, and he asked Moroni for help to put down the kingmen who were to blame. The kingmen had taken control of Zarahemla, had chased Pahoran from the city, and they had agreed to help Ammoron. Together, Moroni and Pahoran defeated the kingmen. Now, with more support, the Nephite army began to retake city after city. Eventually, the whole Lamanite and Nephite armies were gathered to the city of Moroni. At night, Teancum snuck into Ammoron's tent and killed him. However, this time the servants heard Teancum and they killed him. The next day, the Nephite army completely drove the Lamanite armies from their lands. Moroni retired, and his son Moronihah took charge of the army. A few years later, Moronihah repelled an attack from a large Lamanite army. During the years of peace, a man named Haggith built a ship, and he left with many people to explore new lands. Many others followed, and they were not heard from again. Finally, Helaman gave Shiblon the sacred records, who later passed it on to Helaman's son, who was also named Helaman.